what in the world's going on with Monica Czinano? 1 point, 0 for 1 from the floor.
Yeah, has really not gotten a lot of touches. I think if you're the Hawkeyes, you want to try to maybe get her some touches off the move, run some brush screens for her, get her in the pick and roll with Caitlin Clark. Force the defense to help, give her some space, because NC State has done an outstanding job of being physical with her down low.
And right off the bat, Jakia Brown-Turner takes it right to Caitlin Clark.
And Jakia Brown-Turner was quiet in the first half, so establishing her early in this second half and her attacking the rim is good for NC State.
It's a lead back up to 6, and right away that had to be a concerted effort as well to get her an early shot.
No question, no question. And then a really good job of getting the ball in a position where she can just go straight to her move.
And Czinano in that loss to Connecticut only had 8 points, took 7 shots. And 2 Iowa losses on the season. Brown-Turner with the miss, it's batted out of bounds. Goes to the Hawkeyes.
Czinano gets good position. She can go straight into her move. I think they got to keep trying to get her touches in a lot of different ways.
Now Johnson moving into the starting lineup this year. 6th player of the year in the league last season. Hobby draws the double. Got it into the middle, and that's a really nice play by Boyd to finish.
And Camille Hobby to be able to pass out of that double team. It wasn't a clean pass necessarily, but she got it out, and Boyd was able to get 2. NC State, after they started 1 for 8, has been very efficient offensively. They've moved the ball, they've got open looks, and multiple players have knocked down big shots.
Czinano, this time bottled up, stolen by Johnson. Diamond Johnson with the miss, but Jada Boyd running the floor. Got a follow shot. Clark asking for it. They go the other way to Martin. Marshall, good look, couldn't get it to go. Hobby off of her. But with the exception of Clark and Stuelke, they've been having trouble hitting shots. Clark picked up her dribble all the way across the floor to Warnock. Good closeout by Boyd, forced her to drive just a little bit too strong. Now a whistle. I think it's a clock issue. Yep, the shot clock did not start running. NC State in the second quarter, Steph White, shot over 71%.
And that's the concern for Iowa when you think about potential runs deep into the tournament is defensively. Can they get it done? I mean, this is a team who is next to last in the Big Ten in defensive points per game. I mean, they have not consistently been a strong defensive team. They have been able to outscore a lot of opponents, but NC State has found their range. They're leading the ACC in three-point field goal percentage. So we're taking a look at just the clock issue. But that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off, and that's one of the things that is a concern when you think about deep NCAA tournament runs.
Last year, their tournament ended early as they were upset in the second round by Creighton. Lost in the Sweet 16 to U Conn the year before that. And as you well know, once you get into the NCAA tournament, you're playing elite teams, better defensive teams, and it's been problematic for Iowa. All right, so they're continuing to work on the shot clock, which might be frozen because it's cold outside. What a game that preceded us. Maryland at Notre Dame. Olivia Miles just hit a shot to tie it up. Waning seconds of the fourth quarter. Diamond Miller with the fadeaway. Knocks it down, and the Maryland Terrapins quiet what had been a very noisy Joyce Center. That's a big win for Maryland. Kevin Durant, who is from Prince George's County in Maryland, tweeted about Diamond Miller. You were killer for that Dirk fade at the buzzer. Good win for the Terps. KD watching that game.
That Dirk fade at the buzzer, that was exactly that Dirk fade, and big time shot and a terrific game.
Yeah, that's a big win for Brenda Freeze. Lost some players to the transfer portal. Hobby and Warnock get tied up. Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall are starters who have yet to score for Iowa.
And Kate Martin coming off that 20 points, 6 of 6 from the three-point line against Connecticut.
And Martin was on fire. Those 20 points was a career high. McKenna Warnock, has just picked up her 3rd personal foul. So the freshman Stuelke, who had 6 points in the first half, comes back in. Hobby with the miss at the line. That was a good look at Warnock. Very important player for this Iowa team. Hannah Stuelke, the true freshman, coming in. This is the biggest lead of the night, 7 points for the Pack. And then Hobby took it away as they tried to get it in to Czinano.
I mean, you cannot say enough about Camille Hobby and River Baldwin's effort on the interior. And what a catch by Jada Boyd in transition. That was not an easy catch, and she made it look easy.
So we're 3 minutes into this quarter, and Caitlin Clark has just taken one shot and has not scored. And Stuelke, who just checked in, got fouled.
Well, NC State has done a really good job in transition, pushing right here. Jakia Brown-Turner finds Jada Boyd, and look at the ability to catch, to stay on balance, and to finish.
13 points off turnovers now for Westmore's team. Here's Stuelke at the line, a freshman from Cedar Rapids, where she went to Washington High School. That's where the Freeze family went. Brenda Freeze, the head coach at Maryland. Of course, Stacy Freeze, sister Marcia as well. And also Katie Abrahamson Henderson, Coach A.
That's right.
Down at
Coach
Georgia.
A, yep.
So Washington High and Cedar Rapids doing some things. Really good women's basketball players coming out of that, becoming coaches. And Stuelke is next in line. The Iowa High School Player of the Year last year, stayed home to play her college ball, and there's JBT.
I like the aggressive Jakia Brown-Turner. I think there are times in a game where she sometimes disappears and she'll settle for just being a shooter, but she has the ability to get to the rim using that length, using that athleticism.
That pass was too tall for Czinano, but a foul has been called on NC State to bail out what would have been a turnover.
Well, this is just a really good take, and she shoots over the top of Kate Martin. Jakia Brown-Turner can be, and likely will need to be, a go-to scorer consistently for NC State. I mean, she's averaging double figures. She started out slow this season, but has picked it up. We saw that last year as well. Started out a little bit slow, picked it up as the season went on.
And she really struggled early in the ACC season, but as you mentioned, came on very strongly. And it was interesting, Wes Moore said, you know, she's the only returning starter. You look at her night so far, but she had so much talent around her. He said it's like going from a number 3 seed to a number 1 seed, like in tennis. More is expected of you.
More is expected of you. She's going to be number 1, 2, or 3, certainly on the scouting report. But she has the ability to diversify her game a little bit more than she's shown.
Camille Hobby, I'm sorry, just forced another turnover.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, her defensive effort has been outstanding. Nothing coming easy for Monica Czinano, who is one of the best at getting position before the catch. And Hobby's activity level has been terrific.
Czinano averaging 11 shots per game. She's only gotten off 2 in this one.
And she hasn't gotten a lot of touches.
It is a 10-point lead for the Pack, trying to send Iowa to its 3rd loss already. And here we are, just the 1st of December.
Well, in each of those losses, Iowa has had a poor quarter where they have been heavily outscored. Against Kansas State in the 4th quarter, 3rd quarter against U Conn, 2nd quarter here tonight against NC State.
Second trip, she's 2 for 2 so far. Clark on top of everything else, an excellent free throw shooter. The crowd getting into it now in Iowa City. Their team down 8. Johnson guarded by Molly Davis. And there's a foul. They get Brown-Turner. Czinano going out in favor of Addison O'Grady, who got a couple of minutes back in the first half. Monica Czinano scored an early bucket here in the 3rd quarter. Just has 3 points on 2 field goal attempts. Does have 7 rebounds. And another giveaway. Johnson to Brown-Turner, beautiful.
Diamond Johnson has done a really good job of managing this game. When they needed her early, she attacked as O'Grady hits that pull-up jumper. And in this second half, dictating tempo.
Good ball movement by NC State. And there you see the last couple of seasons, Iowa under 500 against ranked teams. They most recently lost to U Conn, losing now to NC State. When we talked to Lisa Bluder after shoot-around this morning, you asked her, what's your biggest concern? And right away she said defensive transition. And we have seen that should have been a concern.
Yeah, she said she was happy with it for the most part against Connecticut, but she really discussed NC State and their ability to stretch the floor in transition from the three-point line, but they've really hurt them with their rim runs and getting points into paint.
Inadvertent buzzer this time.
Clocks were frozen, now the equipment's frozen.
Yes. Easy Fudd held to just 2 points in the first half against Iowa last weekend in Thanksgiving. And I asked Lisa Bluder what happened, because she got 22 in the second half, and she said just basically AZ
she's
became
good.
AZ. Yeah,
she's good.
Basically what you say about Caitlin. She's good.
Right, she's good. You're not going to hold him down forever.
Czinano back in the game. Caitlin Clark with the miss. So Clark and Czinano in this quarter have only taken 3 shots. Caitlin's 0 for 2 from the floor. Czinano, remember, hit that layup early. That's the only shot she's taken since the break.
And in that same Connecticut game, Caitlin Clark was cold in the third quarter in that matchup as well, and that is when Connecticut made their run.
Under 4 minutes to go now in the third. Taken away, Czinano. Davis in the game. Transfer from Central Michigan. That's definitely a foul. Clark at least getting chances at the free throw line in this quarter.
And I like that. She struggled a little bit, hasn't felt in rhythm, so now get opportunities at the foul line. Find other ways to put points on the board.
Three assists from hitting the 25, 5 rebound, 5 assist mark. Lengthening her lead over Sabrina Ionescu in that category. And Czinano keeps trying to will Iowa back into the game, needing some defense. Hobby working on Czinano and finishes with her offhand.
Camille Hobby's numbers don't jump off the stat sheet, but she has been impressive. Her positioning on the defensive end, her work on the defensive end, really good passing out of a double team, and that time going one-on-one.
Clark has it cup out. Hobby, the understudy to Elisa Cunane the last few years. Coach's kid, her dad is a coach in the National Football League, but does a lot of nice things for this team.
Yeah, she really does. She is a go-to on the block, and here, one-on-one, no double team comes, and she goes to work, and defensively just an outstanding job of being physical. You see the fundamental box out that allows her team to get the ball and initiate the break.
That's a tough pass. And Czinano, good defense. Rivers with room.
Again, Diamond Miller on the break and really just doing an outstanding job of facilitating, finding her open teammates.
Iowa is now facing a 12-point deficit. South Carolina transfer coming in and doing what Diamond Johnson did last year, and that's give NC State points off the bench. Gabby Marshall still hasn't scored, and that foul goes against Iowa. Czinano just picked it up. That is her third.
I don't like that call. I think Czinano did a really good job of holding her position. Of course, I get the benefit of the second look, but you know, I think she holds her position right here. Oh, you can see her right there coming underneath, so that is a good call.
A little grabby.
Yep.
On the arm, and we saw Bruce Morris there in position, but 2 games in a row now. Jan Jensen on the left, who's a terrific post coach for this Iowa team. 2 games in a row now that Czinano has been neutralized. 12-point deficit, the largest that Iowa has faced all year. Lost to U Conn by 10, which was their biggest lead. Clark taking matters into her own hands. Gets fouled again.
And there were times in Caitlin Clark's career, and even in the last matchup against Connecticut, where when she struggled from the floor, she still continued to take bad shots, long threes, jump shots. There's a difference tonight, and she told us she went back and she watched the film. And what she took from that was that she had to find different ways to score. And so now she's not making shots, but she's getting to the free throw line. And we know that's money for her.
Well, Clark was 10 of 15 from the floor at the half. Has cooled off considerably. But still, she's got herself 30 points. Her second of the season, had a season high 33 against Belmont. 13th time in her career she has had a 30-point game. River Baldwin, short, Czinano board. Czinano, good position this time against Baldwin. Had to work hard to get that shot off.
That was a heck of a shot by Monica Czinano. The degree of difficulty was high. She dives down in for position. Back to the basket. Yeah, it looks like she shuffled that pivot foot a little bit, but she is known for that step through, but that was a tough, tough finish.
Yeah, she looked like she was totally cut off. Brown Turner, nothing but net.
And that shot is just so pretty.
Baldwin, good position on the rebound that time for the Florida State transfer. Foul out on the perimeter. Called on Taylor McCabe. He has not scored in this half. Does have 6 rebounds and 3 assists. First-year starter. Who began her career at Rutgers. Minute to go in the third quarter. Warnock finally got a 3 to fall. She had missed her first 3 from out there. Rivers, good look. Great result. Rivers quiets the crowd.
That is a big-time shot by Sanaya Rivers, a player who didn't get a ton of time. You mentioned the depth chart in South Carolina, but has come in and has embraced this spark role coming off the bench for Westmore.
Shot clock is off for Caitlin Clark. Warnock fouled by Mimi Collins out on the perimeter.
Well, they worked on that in practice today, and Westmore talked about Mimi Collins having to get over the top. You know, when that screen, on-ball screen happens, you have to get over the top, and that time just too physical.
Marshall comes in for McCabe. Stuelke will come in. Personal fouls. Czinano also has 3. Rivers with the miss, but Kate Martin went down after a collision. And that's what the crowd here is upset about. No call as we end the third quarter.
This is one of those plays, though, where your post player has got to tell the guard that the screen is coming. She backpedaled 3 or 4 times.